timing. And so we'll take during segments and move around in between. The talent loves interaction from the audience, so that's the time to ask questions.
That's the nicest things ever been said about me.
And it's very casual, as you can tell. Restrooms are out that door. Any questions before we jump in? We've got royalty in the house, Armandino Batali. Who will be on for 2 segments. We're going to zoom in an author from London, hopefully. It's a challenge to get our time frames right. And then
Tom, have you ever been?
the owner of Book Library, stories coming with the season and or for personal favorites.
Have you been to Mandolin?
Madeline?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's been there for 10 years.
Yes.
I guess I went behind schedule, I guess.
So exciting. Look at these faces.
I've got a little late start here.
So we used to do a show on Friday and it was hard to bring people out. What's going on with Thursday? I want to know because since we started Thursday, it's like there's more people than ever.
Well, Cairo forced us to Thursday.
No, I mean for us, but I'm talking about the audience. What's going on Thursday? Like people, there's more people on Thursday out than there is on Friday. What's going on?
Yeah.
I don't understand that.
All right.
I'm very happy though. Very happy they're here. No, Saturday.
Saturday, Sunday. And I trust you'll listen to both days.
With commercial
It's only
breaks.
4 hours. You can do it.
No.
4 to 6. Typically.
Is there any sports that are going to kick us out
I think this
weekend?
week there's no football.
Oh yes, there is. Tomorrow there is 7 a.m. and 11 a.m. There's 2 beautiful
Soccer.
world soccer game.
Okay, that one.
Tomorrow at 11 a.m. France is
We
playing.
don't play tomorrow at 11 a.m.
Huh?
We don't play then.
Okay,
I know.
let's go. We've got an 11:30 class, so.
Welcome to the Hot Stove Society Cooking Show on Cairo Radio. We're here downtown Seattle at the beautiful Hotel Andra, 4th of Virginia. Come down, do a little staycation with us. We'd have a good time having you here. We tape on Thursday mornings. We have a nice audience here today. We're drinking eggnog from Smith Brothers Dairy. Thank you so much. It's delicious.
Thank you, Andy.
And we have a little bit of, I don't know if the people at Smith Brothers know this or not, but their eggnog is really good with Myers rum in it.
I bet they know.
It is very, very good. And I must just a side note. I love seeing the truck coming through Madison
Me
Valley
too.
and delivering through each home. I think that's still very, very cool to see that because
That was when my life
it
was
is
good.
a dying rarity. I mean, it's definitely something.
What do you mean?
that's-
There's Amazon trucks all over the place.
Yeah,
They just don't have cow spots on them. All right, we got a big show today. 2 full hours of deliciousness. We're excited that you are joining us, whether it's in your backyard, in your garden. Well, it's kind of hard to garden right now. It's cold out there.
If you're in the backyard, you're not gardening.
Our
no.
farm in Prosser is frozen stiff right now. It
I
hasn't.
bet.
You haven't been able to see the ground, under the snow now for almost 2 weeks.
Wow.
It's hard to believe we've been doing this show for over 20 years and still look forward to it every week as we do, Chef.
Yeah,
give me
absolutely.
a high five there. We are decked out for the holidays. If you're looking for some holiday merriment, come and check us out here at the Hot Stove Society Hot Stove website for upcoming events, including a wine dinner with XOBC. When is that? Am I part of,
21st.
am I part of that?
Only if you want to be.
Wow.
I know
You're
you
gonna do
love
an
those
XOBC
women.
wine dinner without me.
They couldn't afford you.
I like how you feel
That's
left
because
out
the
of-
wines are expensive.
The wines are expensive.
One of our mixologist, Julie Ross's popular cocktail classes is happening soon. And our Groovin' New Year's Eve Christmas party that Pamela, are you going to be here with me for that?
You bet.
All right.
Wouldn't
Pam,
miss it.
Pam and I are going to miss it. And it's the going away party for Pamela as a direct employee. You're going to keep the show though, right?
Depends how we negotiate
Oh, okay.
Whoa! She's putting that on the air. I like that.
on the air.
We'll give you a raise from 1950 to 20.
That is an hour, of course.
All right, so many great guests today. We have Vicki Benison to talk about her highly successful Pasta Grannies book and YouTube series called Pasta Grannies. The always gracious, and I bet a golf sandbagger, Armandino Batali joins us to share holiday food memories. Are you a sandbagger, Armo? I don't know why I want to call you Armando today, but are you a sandbagger? No, he actually plays to his handicap is what he's saying. I don't believe it. Laura Hamilton is here from the Book Larder. Will join us from some new releases that you must have for your holiday shopping. And plus, one of the great things about her shop over there in Fremont is that often the authors come through and sign a stack
She's
of
got
books.
a lot of signed books.
Yeah, and that to me is when I buy a cookbook, I like signed first editions. Those are my favorites.
Yeah.
'Tis the season for roasting vegetables. I just had some crispy edged broccoli for dinner.
Oh, that's one of the ones I want to talk about.
Oh, good. And of course, our Rub with Love Food for Thought Tasty Trivia Challenge is going to wrap up the 2 hours. So don't fret. We're here for 2 full hours.
Yeah.
I know people miss us sometimes.
Make yourself comfortable. It's going to be a little while.
Have an eggnog. Have a
Exactly. Have some
have a
eggnog.
Smith Brothers eggnog with a little bit of Myers rum in it. Or if you really want to get crazy, do a little cognac or something.
Ooh.
Yeah, do something good.
Yeah.
First of all, you can also make the eggnog. It's not that complicated.
No, you can't. She's here right now.
Okay, never mind.
In the audience.
Never mind.
Oh my God, you're a heathen.
No,
You're the
no,
devil
I
incarnate.
wasn't thinking. I was thinking like a chef again. Never mind.
Yeah, okay. My taste of the week was a friend took us to Hawaii for a week last week, and I played golf. And in honor of him taking us to Hawaii, I lost every round to him. Yeah, I was totally on purpose. It wasn't for lack of
trying.
Yeah, exactly.
Blame the wind. Blame the wind in Hawaii.
Yeah, there was no wind. Oh, it was the volcano. That's what it was.
Yeah, blame the volcano. Here you go.
Yeah, we're going to post, Pam. I want you to post that picture I sent you from our backyard of the glow of Mauna Loa that you could see at nighttime. You can't even believe there's enough lava to create like a sunset glow over the mountains.
Yeah, the pictures were incredible.
So anyway, my taste of the week is we went up to Waimea, got the huli huli chicken, and we sent a posse. We sent like a search party for it. And they came back thinking that maybe we were 40 people instead of the 12 people that we were. And so we had a lot of extra chicken. And, we've talked on the show before about what to do with leftover rotisserie chicken. And what the great thing about huli huli chicken is it's done over charcoal.
Right.
And
very tasty.
So it just brings that essence that nothing else will compare. So I took the cold chicken the next day on our way back on the airplane. I made chicken salad bowls for all of us with kimchi cucumbers and furikake papaya and a little Napa cabbage and celery slaw underneath. I was just literally cleaning out the fridge.
Sure.
But I dressed the chicken in a garlic chili mayonnaise.
Nice.
With sesame oil and lime juice, and it was so good. And it just reminded me of how easy it is to take these leftovers that we're going to have all throughout the holiday seasons and turn them into something exciting and new.
Empty your fridge. It's easy.
Your fridge. Yeah. Just use up some of those condiment jars. Mix and match.
Yeah.
But furikake is one that I always keep on the shelf. And that is a delicious condiment, I think.
Good for you.
And it doesn't go bad. Your choice now.
My taste of the week, I went to a restaurant called Manolin on Stoneway. I had never been there before. That was my first experience. It was delicious. They just started their new winter menu. Not many items on the menu, but it's a great place to go. If you're not trying to do a giant meal, like a good light dinner, it's a great place to go. Sit at the bar. They have a beautiful, semicircle bar, and just order things on the menu. The highlight to me last night, one of the dishes I really liked because I thought it was very creative and completely different, was giganti beans, just those big beans they have. In a salad form with bonito flakes. That was very to me. That was very different and very creative. I'd never had that, and the contrast of flavor was really surprising to me when I read it, but extremely delicious.
Tell people what bonito flakes are.
It's a fish. What do you call fish flake?
Yeah.
I mean dry fish flake.
Yeah.
So.
Were they wavering? And
so they were
doing that
wavering
dance?
when they
love
come
that.
to the table.
Scary.
They're shaved really, really thin.
But the beans were not hot. They were room temp, but they were not hot. So It wasn't not like as much as when you put on high heat, but it was still moving around. So yeah, I thought it was very delicious. But they also had the ceviche that was really good, the black cod that was really good. Nice little dishes, simple. Again, you're not going there to have a giant whole roasted chicken by yourself because that's not the place. But I would definitely recommend a try that there.
All right, and if you are going to Maniland over there on Stone Way,
Right.
Seawolf Bakery is right in the same
Right
little
next door, yeah.
Yeah. So I would suggest you pre-order at Seawolf and have them leave it at Maniland because they're not going to be open by the time you go for dinner at 6:30, 7 o'clock, right?
No, that's true. They're
Yeah,
making
so
bread
then
for the
you can
next day
still
already.
they make a delicious baguette.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And they also, actually, Manolan actually has a cheese bread that's actually pretty cool.
Coming up, crank up the oven. Sorry, Sean, let's do that again. I have too much eggnog on my tongue. Coming up, crank up the oven for our crispy roast vegetables. You're listening to us on Cairo Radio. It's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM. That was an exciting beginning.
Whoa.
Hey.
I'm at the edge of my seat.
Relax and sit
You guys
back
have
a
any
little bit.
questions? Not yet? Okay.
Is anyone drunk yet? Getting there? Oh, you're a cheap date. All right, Chef, it's time to get going here in the Hot Stove Society kitchen. Turn the ovens up high. I'm talking high. We're talking 450, 500. Turn them up high, and let's start roasting some vegetables in this cool, chilly, wet wintertime weather that we're having. Tell me where you like to start on roasting vegetables and where you like to finish. So you know what I mean, right?
Yeah,
So
I'd like to start by re-emphasizing the word high heat.
yeah,
It's extremely important that, first of all, roasted vegetable, most of them roast really fast. Fast in terms of it doesn't take hours to roast vegetable. And you need to have your oven really high because most vegetable have a lot of water in it. So, you know, in order to get that crispiness, you need to have high heat. So high heat means over 400 degrees, 425, 450, all those numbers that are on your dial that you never go to, you need to go to. Don't
I
be
would
afraid.
say no less than 450.
Right. I would say go all the way. If you can, put the dial all the way to the highest number it can go to and wait. I mean, prep after that. Don't turn on the oven and put your vegetable in because by the time it reaches that temperature, your vegetable will be done and mushy. So wait till your oven gets really, really, really hot. Then put the pan in. So when you turn your oven on, then you prep your vegetable. And I think the second part that's important is to make sure you cut your vegetable in a size that is going to be fairly even all around so you don't end up with a tiny piece of broccoli like my little pinky here, the head of my pinky, and then the other one size of your hand, because you're going to have one that's going to be raw and the other one that's going to be burned. Those are easy to understand, but a mistake that most people make all the time. You see it when the pan comes out of the oven, you're like, oh, half my broccolis are burned. The other half is
So
burned.
I think roasting certain vegetables is really easy to understand. Like if
Right.
you're going to do roasted carrots, it's easy to watch, easy to understand. Pamela and I were talking in the break. Pam, your thing was about broccoli, right? Because I think there's a lot more nuance to broccoli than there is in a carrot when it goes to roasting on high
Yeah,
temp.
because of the different textures.
Right.
You want something different for the stem than the florets.
Right.
You want those crispy florets, but you want a soft center.
And we just disagree a little bit on that. So let's get into that too. Go ahead.
Well, Annie and I were talking about it because she said cooking it at our warehouse in Ballard with those convection or turbo ovens, she got the best result because of the moisture in the oven. And I think sometimes when I do broccoli in the oven, I do it in the cast iron, just super high heat. And now I'm going to put a couple of droplets of water in there.
And so let's go back to the beginning. So you've got your oven on high.
Always.
You have your pan in the oven now heating
Yeah.
up just like your oven's heating up before you
I
put
learned
the broccoli.
something from you guys.
Okay. And then while the pan and the oven are heating up, you take your bowl and you cut your broccoli.
Toss
You
it in
leave
oil.
you leave the florets on top of the stem,
Yes,
and you toss it with olive oil, salt, and pepper.
Exactly.
And then you open your oven and you put the cold broccoli into the hot sizzling pan.
Correct.
Okay. And you're not happy with the results because the stems aren't cooking as fast as the florets.
You nailed it.
Okay.
Okay, so simple math. Take the florets out when they're ready. Leave the stem in.
I disagree, chef.
Well, you could. I mean,
You could, yeah.
That would be a simple
But
way.
you're
to-
also opening the oven then. You're doing all
Of
this
course,
kind of
but
stuff to
my
release
point
But I
is-
like leaving it in the whole
Yeah.
piece, so it makes that graceful edge to the
Sure.
plate.
So where I think the argument is it reasonable to have two different textures in that broccoli? And I think it is. I think if the floret becomes a little bit done and crispy and crunchy,
We want
and the
that.
stem is a little bit underdone and has a different kind of crunch to it, I think that's a delicious combination. So what I'm saying is maybe
Wait,
there's not a problem where you're thinking there's a problem.
Wait. Maybe there's not a problem for you. That's a problem for her. She already said that. So let's solve the issue of that.
So would
That's
you
not
ever,
solving the issue what you just said.
do you peel you peel your broccoli stalk?
No.
I think that's
Oh, you don't?
Yeah.
Oh, but,
That is- What are you, a
Oh,
cave
alors,
dweller?
I'm
Are you
sorry.
a cave dweller?
Hey, Tom, I'm sorry. This is unacceptable.
So you don't tear off your stem, but you do peel that tough outside. It's very stringy.
Oh yeah, you have to, because
I
if you
know.
don't peel it, man, you're gonna be chewing on that.
And so then one of the most popular dishes we make here at the hot stove in our classes is our charred broccoli salad. And so you've made that before, and
Many times.
and we take that, we put it in the same cast iron on top of the stove, and we burn it. We literally burn it to the pan. And people think, oh my God, you're burning the broccoli. And you're not. It tastes so caramelized and delicious. You put a little custardy, creamy vinaigrette on top. Really good.
Yeah.
One more vegetable before we run out of time.
Okay.
Oh,
Besides
parsnip.
cabbage. Oh, yeah,
Parsnip.
let's do parsnip.
Parsnip is an easy one this time of year. It's a beautiful winter root vegetable, and it's got sugar in it that's pretty high, so it caramelizes very nicely. Again, try to keep, parsnip is a little tricky vegetable because it starts as thin as a pencil, and it ends up as thick as on the other hand, as thick as a carrot. So you want to make sure that you cut those pieces fairly even, again, in sizes, to be able to have them cooked the same way. But you take the big piece at the end after you peel your parsnip.
You peel it?
Yeah, you have to peel your
Pamela,
parsnip.
we
I'm
peeled
sorry.
the parsnip.
You
guess
have to
so.
peel your parsnip. I don't care what you say, Tom.
No, I'm all with you. I'm talking to Pamela.
This is you do have to peel your parsnip. I'm not a horse yet. And then you cut the big ends. You cut them in the middle, so they're actually smaller sizes. But they caramelize. Toss them in a little bit of olive oil, a little seasoning on it, whatever you want. And the Tokyo rub. I've done that with the Tokyo rub. Then you have. That's really good. It's very delicious because you wouldn't think of putting that with
No.
vegetable, but it's actually really delicious.
The only thing you have to be careful with there, if you're going to spice your roasted vegetables before
After.
you can toss them after, or you can toss them, sprinkle it over for the last minute or two.
Right.
Yeah.
Which is what I mean by after. You don't.
Spices burn.
Yeah, spices will burn, especially at 450 for 20 minutes, 30 minutes in an oven. It will burn. So put it towards the end. The last minute, you toss them in a bowl. Put the spice on it. Flash it in the oven for a couple of minutes, and that's it. But yeah, roasting vegetable this time of year. Every vegetable, onions, carrots,
Brussels sprouts.
Brussels sprout, broccoli, cauliflower, even ginger. You can put ginger in the oven and roast it. It's really delicious.
Let's talk about one that really has gotten forgotten in our culture, which is a head of green cabbage.
Oh yeah,
Oh, boy, yeah.
Don't you think?
That
Yeah.
does so well at high heat.
Really, it does. And I don't think a lot of people think about it, but you just wedge a head of green cabbage. I prefer Savoy cabbage. It
Right.
works with red cabbage. But red cabbage looks burnt when it gets to the table, whereas green cabbage, you can see the caramelization on
Right.
the outside. Just put it in a cast iron pan or in the oven, a little bit of butter and
Yeah,
olive
just in
oil.
a sheet pan works great,
Sheet
too.
pan. My favorite thing was from Saigon over the counter in the Pike Place Market.
I don't remember their cabbage.
They always had a side vegetable. It was more steamed, but they always use fish sauce and butter on it. And it is a
Ah.
beautiful combination.
Mhm.
So for the last half of roasting the cabbage, when you start to see brown caramelization on the wedge, flip it over and then hit it with fish sauce.
Oh,
you
you would
cut
do
your
it in a
cabbage in
wedge.
quarter.
Oh, no, smaller than that.
Smaller
Yeah.
than that.
6 or 8s.
Okay.
Yeah. Number one, nobody wants to eat a whole wedge of cabbage.
Right.
You'll feel it for the rest of the night and maybe tomorrow. So, yeah, it's just something.
Yeah, but everybody's having it, so it's okay.
Yeah.
Chef Steph has a recipe right now for roast cabbage with a coconut beurre blanc.
Oh yeah,
It's got
nice.
some fish sauce in it and
Right.
lime.
And do they do the whole roasting and then garnish with the bear
Yeah.
blanc? Yeah.
yeah, it's like that.
That sounds delicious.
All right. I'm ready for some roasted vegetables right now. Coming up next, Vicki Benison of Pasta Granny zooms in to share her stories about the Italian.
Great. Yeah.
All right. Coming up, author Vicki Benison of Pasta Granny zooms in to share stories about the talented Italian women in her book and YouTube series. Pasta Granny. On Cairo Radio, it's the Hot Stove Society show.
Has anybody watched the Pasta Granny's YouTube yet?
What are you doing?
Oh my goodness, they are the most charming thing on the planet. Yeah, we only have her for 15 minutes, but you are going to become addicted to following the work that she's doing with these women making pasta. And we have Vicki right here. Yay!
Sean, are these folks going to be able to hear?
Yeah.
We can't hear you yet. Hold on.
We can't hear you yet, Vicki. So.
Oh, you can hear Tom on the headphone.
I know, but what about our audience here?
Yeah.
We got you.
Hello.
Hi.
Got me?
Yeah. Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning. Good morning.
Vicki, you have created a cultural
Stop.
phenomena.
Stop.
No.
You're
Yes.
going to say this on the radio.
Yes.
Welcome back to the Hot Stove Society show at 97.3 FM Cairo. We are jumping and jiving here today. We've got a delicious cookbook on tap right now. It's called Pasta Grannies, Heartwarming and Deliciously Comforting, is what Stanley Tucci has to say about it. It's comfort cooking, and Vicki Benison is our author guest. She's on Zoom. And what were you just about to say?
Well, besides welcome, Vicki.
Welcome.
I don't know if you know who we are, but we have a cooking school, and outside of the cooking school are a bunch of recipe boxes. And Tom Douglas, our founding chef, has a saying, "Don't let the recipe box die with you." And you have captured this in the most beautiful, endearing way. You're a hero.
Thank you.
How
Great
did you
introduction.
How did you come up with this inspiration? Besides, every time you go to Italy, you just fall more and more in love with pasta.
Well, I fell in love with Italy so much I moved there. And I bought a house with my husband back in 2005. And during the process of doing up the house, noticed that it was only older women who were making pasta by hand on a daily basis. And so I thought,
oh, Terry, you had a question about that, didn't you?
Well, I was wondering if there was. My question was: is there any bad grannies making pasta in Italy? Because I would think that when you go to France, it's the same thing. You see a lot of older ladies making the classic dishes in the kitchen, and I was wondering if there was also men involved in that process.
Not a chance. They're too lazy.
we do find the occasional grandpa who makes pasta, but they've normally come through a different route to making it. For women over 80, it was a life skill for them. They were told that they wouldn't get married or find a decent husband if they couldn't make pasta properly. So they were given pasta to play with from about the age of 5 in most cases. So for everybody who's younger than that, pasta making is a choice. And if you don't have to, as you're suggesting, is that you go and buy it. I mean, it's much easier. So yes, it is only older ladies that make it regularly.
It must have been a lot of fun to be going into all those ladies' kitchen, listen to their story, and just work with them making pasta or watching them making pasta.
And then archive it on film. On
Yeah,
top of it.
I mean,
Yeah.
that's incredible.
Yeah, I have the best job in the world.
So did the YouTube series come as a result of the success of your first book, or was it vice versa?
No, it was the other way around. I spent about 3 years with about 100 subscribers,
Oh, wow.
and I knew all of them. They were, one of them was my mum, that kind of thing. And then gradually, I think by sort of 2000 and at the end of 2017, I had 5,000 subscribers, and I was very thrilled with that. And then the following year, it went viral. The channel went viral, and as a consequence of that, the book came about. And so, and that was the first book. That's the one that won the James Beard Award. That was 4 years ago. And so this is the follow-up.
Crazy.
Vicky, what have you found? I mean, pasta is, in its own way, one of the most simple things in the world to make, and yet it's technique driven by these grannies and by their grannies and by future generations as they unpack what it is to make pasta and gnocchi and things like that nature. What's the secret, the perfect pasta that you've gleaned from all these grannies?
Oh, that's a hard one.
Secret. Well, the secret is not to get anxious, I think. The secret is to not be concerned by all the rules that journalists and writers create around food. So these women have been making it since they were 5 years old. So, I mean, it's not difficult. What is important is giving yourself the time and the pasta the time. And, it needs to rest. The gluten needs to kind of relax a bit. So that really helps you. And also, I think remembering that a lot of the shapes, when people start out, they make them big. And in fact, quite often they're very small. So you kind of got to miniaturize it a little bit. That's where the technique and the finessing the technique comes.
And is there a more, I'm not a big fan of extruded pasta. I love when the grannies are making kind of hand rolled or rolled in a machine by hand pastas. For me, there's just a huge difference in mouthfeel. I love the all-purpose flour kind of pasta, which we've made clean and things for hundreds, or not hundreds, decades now. Yeah. So is there a secret to the flour that these grannies are using that's been passed down?
Yeah, so there isn't a universal way of categorizing flour. So the Italian way is actually to do with ash content. It gets a bit complicated about burning it off and then what's left over and stuff. So the finest is actually 00 flour, which has a kind of talcum powdery feel to it. And so that's what the ladies use a lot. And it's more or less the equivalent of all-purpose or plain flour. But it's a nuance. You don't have to worry too much about it. The main thing is to actually get used to the brand that you're using, because they all behave in slightly different ways.
And are you an egg person?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, you betcha.
Yeah,
yes.
I am too. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think it makes.
I'm into all of it. I'm into fat and egg and definitely the egg.
Yeah, I definitely meant in the flour though. So yeah.
Oh, I see.
Or in the pasta.
Okay, definitely. So the egg with egg flour, you're using the 00 and egg, and the egg gives the pasta body. Without the eggs, you can still make it with just water, but it becomes a less toothsome pasta. So, if you can use an egg, that's great.
Yeah, I'm 100% with it. Egg in my pasta.
Me too.
And egg in my pasta as well when it's cooked. I love a gooey, runny poached egg on top of my pasta. That's definitely something that I love. With some nice lardon, bacon, a mushroom, and a beautiful runny poached egg, a 4-5 minute poached egg.
Yes, that sounds delicious. So the thing about eggs as well is that if you put it into down south in Italy, the durum wheat flour doesn't need an egg because it's already got quite a lot of body to the flour.
Right.
So if you add eggs to that, you get a very firm dough. It's hard to roll out.
Right.
Is there an area of Italy that if somebody's traveling and they are pasta wannabes, or they just love it so much? I mean, Of course, you go to Genoa area and you get pasta with all sorts of basil on it. You go to other areas like Florence, you get a different kind of pasta. Is there an area that you've become most attracted to?
So I think the mother lode for a handmade hand-rolled pasta is Emilia-Romagna.
Yeah.
So there, the women, they roll out the perfect circle of dough, and they're making the tortellini and the capelletti and the capellacci and the plin and that kind of whole bit along the Po Valley is where you get the most extraordinary diversity of pasta. That's not to say that no one else, Liguria, you've just mentioned it, makes the most wonderful pastas and pestos. But, if you want to kind of get to grips with pasta making, then, take yourself off to Parma or Bologna.
Yes, please. What is your secret for finding your chefs, your granny chefs?
Well, we nowadays I have a granny finder.
Granny finder. Can I apply
Is this for
that?
Christmas? I want one for Christmas.
Pamela's a god granny.
Yes.
You have a
So
finder.
her name is Livia De Giovanni, and she lives in Faenza, and that's her job, is finding grannies. We work together. So we're kind of thinking about where to go at the end of January. It's like, yeah, well, we've just done the Aosta. The snow's arrived. We don't think we'll hurry back there. Well, let's go
No.
to Sicily.
Yes,
Exactly.
that's a great
Wow.
plan.
Great plan.
Well, it's super fun, and I love the fact that you're saving these. Pamela mentioned my collection of recipe boxes that I buy on eBay for $2, $3, $4, $5, and both the saddest and happiest thing for me is when they show up, and when they're empty, I'm sad, and when they're full, I'm sort of sad for the families who let it go.
Yeah.
And I think what you're doing is an awesome treat for all of us to explore what these historical recipes mean to each other's families. Maybe it's not even the best pasta, but there's much more to a recipe
The
than the
heirloom is-
ingredients, right?
yeah.
It's the stories
Yeah.
behind it. So
Yeah, so pasta is now the prism through which we sort of meet the women. The pasta is important, but equally, the women and their stories have, great popularity. The book is called Comfort Cooking because so many people wrote to me during the pandemic and said, Pasta Grannies helps me cope. It's a great source of comfort, meeting these women and realizing that they have lived through so much more and can, deal with all these things. So that's why it's called Comfort Cooking.
very good. Vicki Bennison has been our guest. She's the author of Pasta Grannies, Comfort Cooking, and we're excited to see and continue watching her adventures on YouTube and in books. Thank
You're
you,
an
Vicki.
angel. Thank you.
Oh, it's my pleasure.
Thank you
for
so
inviting
much.
me.
Thank
Mille
you.
grazie.
Bye-bye.
Mille grazie,
Arrivederci.
yeah.
Grazie. Bye-bye.
Up next, 2 segments. I don't know, Armandino, can you handle 2 segments? 2 segments with Armandino Batali right here in the Hot Stove Kitchen on Cairo Radio, 97.3 FM. Good get, Pam.
She was a good. What a cool job. Armando. We can do it from here. Stand up.
You want to move his mic to the... Watch your head there.
Should. There you go.
Pretty avant-garde here.
We don't mess around here.
Yeah, Amo, you gotta get very, very close to it. Remember, we're looking for that sexy Italian voice.
And just remember, I hope your makeup is appropriate because you're on camera here, just so you know.
His makeup
You have your
is
makeup?
Perfect.
We spent 2 hours doing that.
That's quite a,
Imagine being a granny finder.
that's,
It's so up your alley.
boy, that's.
Okay. Christmas? Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Why don't you get us started, Chef? Welcome back. It's the Hot Stove Society show on Cairo. We are here in the kitchens of the Hot Stove. We are so busy right now with all the holiday parties and dumpling challenges. What's the most popular thing right now?
We've got like five Italian classes in a row.
Oh,
this
really?
week.
Really?
Awesome. Love it.
Wow.
There's something about this time of year and Italy. The traditions just match up.
Yeah.
Christmas, the spirituality, the coming together of the family, and eating Italian food.
Awesome.
Well, that's perfect because our next guest is Armandino Batali. And Armandino, welcome. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me. I
And,
love it here.
A couple of weeks ago, you were gracious to invite me to a fundraiser you're part of for St. Martin University down in Lacey, Washington. And I was suspicious because I'm like, Lacey, Washington. If you've never been to Lacey, Washington, it's a bit in the middle of nowhere for somebody from Seattle. It takes a while to get there. But I was just completely dumbfounded to see what happened next. You guys put on a show that is unbelievable. And you raised a gigantic amount of money for that auction. I was just floored.
Good.
Yes, good.
Wonderful.
Tell us the history first of all that, and how did this auction become so? I mean, you raised over $3 million.
Yeah.
Whoa.
That
that's
is a
more
crazy
than
number.
Pancho.
Well, 10 or 12 years ago, I graduated from there some 60 years ago. And they would have a fundraiser every year somewhere in Thurston County. We decided to start bringing out guest chefs. And Mario was the first one, of course, but since that time, we've had the Chew, we've had Michael Simon, we've had Jacques Pepin, and this year we had Anne Burrell. And
And
each
she was a
year-
kick, by the way. She was really awesome.
Oh yeah,
What an
she was
incredible battery. That woman runs everywhere.
just
Anne Burrell, holy mackerel.
She's from the Food Network. You might know her
Yeah,
from the
Food Network, yeah.
yeah, just to stick a little probe here. But next year we have these two illustrious
These
Seattle
two?
chefs,
Oh, shenanigans are going to happen.
plus Dario Cecchini from Italy, the butcher that
Oh,
we had talked
can I get my
about.
ticket now?
Sure.
Oh,
I
yeah.
wanna
She
meet
wants to
that
jump in. She
Yeah,
wants
no,
to
no,
cherry
she-
pick
I'll
now.
get you.
She could care less when we were the host.
Did
but
you
it's-
notice? She didn't raise her hand when you said, Tom and Terry will be guest chef next year. She didn't say nothing. And then you said, Dario, she's like, can I buy your ticket now?
We'll
We put you on the back of
She
the
loves
room.
a good butcher. That's all I'm saying.
We'll make sure you got a ticket.
Thank you.
That's on the air.
Poor Kevin and his wife up at the Beast and Cleaver up in Ballard. You know, they have to deal with my wife and Pamela going in. They don't ogle the meat; they ogle the butcher.
Yeah, that's kind of the story of Italy and the women,
Yeah.
the grannies. I remember walking or coming into Italy the first time when I lived in Europe, and the first time I ever went to Italy, we were in Taranto Poligno, which is in Abruzzi, where we have some family. And you come driving into town, and here's a woman out in front of her house making pici. Pici's a pasta made
yeah.
with just flour and water.
Right.
And they're rolling them, and it was the scenic view of being in that village.
Yeah. You arrived
She
to the
got
right
a
place.
great idea here to put all these older women, and I bet they loved it.
Yeah.
You're
Yeah.
going to, yeah, when you watch the videos, you'll see the
Yeah.
pride.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that
Did you
pride-
take all your kids when you went to Italy? Mario, how many other kids did you have?
We had three.
3, and you took them all.
Yeah.
That's
oh,
a
yeah.
life adventure.
Oh yeah, it was probably the greatest thing you could have done with the family at their age.
Yeah.
We talk about it a lot.
Yeah, it's a thing that if you haven't done it and you have young children, plan to take trips around the world with them.
Yeah.
It's a lifetime memory. You cannot
Yeah.
pay enough money for that. It's just
I remember you were asking about Christmas ideas. You know, Italians fought like hell with each other as friends and relatives. Just a typically part of their life. I mean, they're quite a jealous group. And of
I
course,
think
guilty group.
They've had
You know.
54 governments since World War II. So.
They-
Right.
I don't think they even know what that means, having a government.
And I get a kick out of, I have a lot of Jewish friends. And we kind of each take each other on who are the most guilty.
That's easy.
But the arguing, sometimes it can be misconstrued, but it's always love is underneath it all. And if you see it from the outside, you think, ooh, do these people not like each other?
Or
But-
how did this become a romantic language? It's like, it sounds like they're cussing each other out. So go back to St. Martin's and why it's
Well,
important to you. You were a student there. And what was your time there?
I graduated there in '59, so we just
Holy
had our
cow, you're old.
60th anniversary. But anyway, we've done this now for 12 years and in this format, and it's just become totally an affair for that part of the state, I think, part of it. Secondly, all the money, every penny goes to student scholarships. And we've been able to increase our student capacity. I mean, just because of that venture, you know. Anyway, this year we had Terry was sitting at my table and Tom couldn't make it because he was working here.
Yep. I had a class here. Yeah.
And
Yeah, some of us have to work.
It saved me
three
about
at the same time.
$20,000 by not going.
which we still,
You know what-
which
you know-
we still owe you.
You know what was serious is I had your paddle
Oh, yeah.
the whole night, and I was like so tempted to just raise it.
I can't
Buy
believe you didn't.
I know. I was like, I was very tempted, but I did not.
Anyway, every year we've increased it. I think in 10, 12 years, it's been $15 million
Wow.
in gala receipts. And it really does go to scholarships. And next year, what we're planning to do, we haven't officially done this yet, but we will. We thought we'd have a little contest
Between the chefs.
between the chefs, and Theory would cook a French dish, and Tom would cook an
A,
American,
a mutt dish.
and then
Maybe mutt tongue.
Maybe mud dish.
and Dario will do some meat. You know,
Yeah.
He does meat well.
I think we should just give him fish for the day,
know that.
just to mess with him. And you should give me an Italian dish to make. And Tom, we should give him something different.
Yeah,
to make.
whatever.
French.
You know, we
Yeah.
went to Dario's meat restaurant. He has a restaurant right across. He's got a couple now, right? But right across the street, it's literally a meat restaurant. You get meat in every course, and some of it's raw, some of it's cooked.
Any vegetables?
The best part about going to the butcher shop is not to hear him sing a little bit, right? He sings a little bit of opera, and then also it's the rosemary. What's the fat? The pork fat. Lardo, the rosemary lardo in a bowl right across from the butcher counter with a sliced bread right there. You just spread it on and wait your turn and eat rosemary lardo, big pile of pork fat while you're waiting to order a big
Yeah.
pile of meat.
Well, that's probably as good as having tinned chips.
Yeah, I think it is. Okay, when we come back, we're going to get back into Christmas a little bit and find out what
Sure.
you and Marilyn did for your Christmas holidays and maybe even how you met Marilyn, who's sadly gone. But did you meet her at St. Martin's?
No, before.
Before St. Martin's. Okay,
Wow.
so when we come back, a little bit more about Armandino Batali and his life and Christmas and what to do if you're a classic Italian. On Cairo Radio, it's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
Good stuff.
Can you talk about Marilyn without getting weepy yet?
Yeah, it's getting a little
Getting
bit
better?
Yeah,
Good. She was such a sweetie.
we're all
And she
lucky.
whipped you into shape.
Oh yeah, she did
Yeah,
that.
she did
And
that.
kept me in shape.
Yeah, exactly. That's what they do. They keep you in shape. Running is good for everybody.
I lost my mom this year and my mother-in-law within a
Oh,
couple of
really?
months.
Yeah,
of
that's
each
pretty
other, yeah.
sad.
Really.
That's a lot.
How old was your mother?
My mother was 92. My mother-in-law 72.
Wow, you got good.
My
genes.
mom died of old age. You know, she just there was the problems started to stack up, and my mother-in-law just fell over. Yeah, on her way out the door with Jackie, just fell over.
I was shocked when you said you had done 20 years of this program. 20 years.
I know we don't look that old.
Boy, that's incredible.
Well, think about it. You graduated St. Martin when I was born.
Yeah.
That's also incredible. I mean, geez.
You should see how people look at my book, Seattle Kitchen. They look at the cover on the book, and then they look at me, and they. Yeah, I wrote that 5 years ago.
They go, wow, you've changed in 5 years.
The book business, though, it takes something like this to regenerate books. But I think the online thing is just kill the book. I may be
The
wrong.
online recipes.
Yeah.
Yeah, my daughter and I argue about it all the time. She's like making pie for Thanksgiving dinner. That's her favorite thing to do. It's her contribution to Thanksgiving dinner. And you know, I have this nice book called the Dahlia Bakery Cookbook. It's got 2 pumpkin pies in it, a pecan pie, chocolate
Definitely has a
fudge
lot of
pie,
pies, yeah.
blah blah blah. And here she is in our kitchen, in my kitchen, holding her iPhone in front of her face and reading somebody else's recipe on how to make pumpkin pie. And it just pisses me off.
We know. We hear about it every week. She's not going to live it down.
Well, but
You
it's-
know, honey, I wrote the book on that.
Yeah.
That's your daughter.
That's my wife, Jackie, and I'm. Let me just tell her.
Put her on the air. Let the
Yeah,
audience.
exactly.
Yeah.
Hello? Hello? Yeah, I'm with the butcher. Who said that? That's awesome. I'm at the butcher.
Yeah.
You have time to call me?
Anything else about Smith Brothers you want us to know while we're waiting for? What else?
You deliver the old cow?
Salami.
Yes, salami.
Yeah.
Foro food.
Yeah.
We deliver, salt and blade, foro beef. So much more.
Oh, I did not know that.
Your cottage cheese.
So one goes to your, we should have you guys on the, so we go to your website and we sign up and you can buy all those goodies and have it delivered at the same time as you get your milk.
I know there's a truck in my neighbor. I just want to.
I know, I see them in my street all the time.
I want some.
Yeah. Ah,
I want somebody to come debate me on cottage cheese. Maybe you, Hinckley,
I'm.
or maybe my wife, Jackie, would debate me on cottage cheese. There is no redeeming value to cottage cheese. Oh, I hate it. Yeah.
No, it's
And then it
true.
comes sometimes with canned pineapple in it. Oh, it's just. I
Yeah.
got so much hate mail on on the show when I told people I hated cottage cheese.
No, I don't like it either. I think it's a useless ingredient.
Hate mail. How could you hate me? Just saying a fact. It's terrible.
Yeah, so much more. And it's mostly local companies.
Yeah.
So, right, 80% of
Very cool.
opening a second warehouse soon, so it'll be twice as many.
So it's Smith Amazon.
No, it's Smith. It's called Smith. No, it's Smith Fresh.
And we have almond milk.
You
An egg.
still deliver? You deliver?
Oh yeah, they deliver every day. I mean,
Yeah.
I see them, like I said, I see them in my truck. It's very cool to see that little truck go by in my street.
Me too. I just need a little Sharpie and I could look just like your truck. All right, we're back in the kitchen here at the hot stove we're continuing our conversation with Armandino Batali. I'm Tom Douglas.
And I'm Terry Roturo, the chef in a hat.
And we're here at the Hotel Andra, which, by the way, if you're coming downtown for a little shop at Nordstrom or just trying to get back into a Christmas routine here in downtown Seattle, come stay here for a night. It's a beautiful place.
Yeah.
And we don't make any money by you staying here, just so you know. But we do have classes and stuff. And do we have any dim sum classes coming up? They sell out quick, don't they?
Not
coming up
We
in
have
December.
dumpling ones coming up.
Dumpling ones? Okay.
Yeah, there's still room in the January one.
Okay. It's only the beginning of December.
I know.
Nice job. Continuing our conversation, Armandino Batali is joining us. He is well known in this town, mostly, I think, for salumi down there at the 3rd Avenue Extension or 2nd Avenue Extension.
Second
Avenue
Avenue
extension.
exit.
And then I think you sold that to your daughter. Is that right?
I did.
And then has she moved on from there, right?
She sold it months before COVID.
Oh, good for her.
Wow. I like the smile you have when you
And
say
she
that.
sold it to 2 women that both went to graduate school at Dartmouth or somewhere.
Uh-huh.
And they've taken it another level. They've built a new facility for curing, 12,000 square feet in Kent.
Ooh.
So they had plenty of money to work with. They're doing well. It's called Coral.
It's called Corvo now, right?
Coral.
Corvo salami.
They're
Yeah.
handling it.
You can see it all over the place. And Smith Brothers, who brought us this delicious eggnog today, offers delivery of that into your milk box.
Yeah, just a quick reminder. They don't just carry milk. They deliver all kind of goodies next to that, right?
Yeah. Who doesn't want a
You
little
don't-
fennel salami with your glass of fresh cow's milk?
Yeah,
Right.
It's a great joiner.
Maybe not at the same time. I like a little glass of Chianti.
Yeah. Armo, tell us about your family Christmases and
Yeah.
the traditions behind them and what.
We lived in a small village in the Yakima Valley. My grandfather was Angelo Merlino, the Merlino store that's
Mhm.
still in name here.
We still buy from them, yeah.
I know you have
Yeah.
10 tons of their labels
Yeah.
over here. So food's always been a big part of our life. We used to come over and work in the store whenever we could. And I remember one Christmas I came home from school and they put me to work unloading a boxcar of bacalao, dry.
Oh, that's so smelly.
That's called
Oh,
Chris-
my-
that's called Christmas.
So that's dried salt cod.
Right,
basically, yeah.
right. You know, and then we'd soak it, and everybody had a recipe. But my mother would throw my clothes away when I came.
Absolutely. I worked at De Laurentiis with Pete and then with Lou. And when it was bacalao season, it was just like, "Wah."
It's great stuff.
Yeah, it's
It's a
good.
big
It's good
trad-
food. It's just not something you want in your room.
Big tradition, and they just use it, soak it, and then just put vinegar and olive oil on it and serve it cold. It was wonderful.
Who
that
wouldn't
way.
love that?
Yeah.
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 Anyway, at Christmas, we would, if the family was speaking to each other, we'd all try to get together and move from one family to the next. And everyone had kind of the same thing in mind. We'd have, rather than turkey at Christmas, we always had lamb and bacalao, of
Uh-huh.
course, and I don't know, grappa afterwards, and a lot of wine drinking. One of the big things was and I'm surprised, and this probably coming, is there's some great grandma bakers in Italy, probably using non-traditional baking methods. In fact, some of the villages in Italy have a central oven,
Right.
Yeah.
and people bring their dish down and cook it in that oven.
Right.
Excuse me, and cook it in that oven, and it became pretty famous. It still is, I think, in certain small villages. But one of the things I just got in the mail this year, my wife was a good baker, really good, a good cook, French. And
Well, sorry about the French part of that.
Hey, you know what? This is how you balance the Italian part.
so I opened the box, and here are 12 different cookies that my wife used to make.
Oh,
Sample of each one.
Who
And
did
What a
that?
great gift. This was
Oh.
Dana, my son, and
Uh-huh.
his wife.
Oh.
What a great gift. It was sentimental
where?
as
Sorry,
well
didn't hear.
as tasty.
Wow.
So there was pizzelles and biscotti, all kinds of different kinds of cookies. And
Uh-huh.
just 2 or 3 of each. It was nice.
That's
But-
putting some heart into it. That's
Yeah.
for sure.
Then
that's the
tradition-
kind of gift that really makes an impact.
Yeah.
You make it and then you give it away, and it's been made by you. You can't get a better gift in life. I think those are good gifts.
You know, when we ever had Grandpa Merlino who would come for Christmas, or we'd go to his house, and he lived at 919 Lane Street, where the freeway goes now.
Mm.
And he had 3 houses, and he would bring Italian immigrants into Seattle because he wanted them to work in his store. And whenever he had a Christmas dinner, it was incredible. He had his own private cook, and they would do lamb, chicken, fish. The night before was the 7 fishes or the 5
Yeah,
fishes.
I love that.
You-
Feast of
you
the
do
7
those too,
fishes.
don't you?
Pamela has forced me into the 7 fishes a couple of times.
Yeah.
Yes.
For Christmas Eve.
Does it go? Does it sell?
It's not for me. It's too much fish for me.
Yeah.
I
It's
I
a
like
lot of
6
fish.
fishes and a prime rib roast.
You know,
I thought you had like one fish and a prime rib.
I just came back from Italy and France with my son, and we went into Brittany, and even at the 3-star or 2-star restaurants, if there were 12 things on the menu, 11 of them were fish.
Nice.
Oh, it was incredibly different. You know, you couldn't find a lamb leg or a lamb chop
In Brittany.
in Brittany.
Yeah.
Ah.
Isn't that where they have the beautiful kind
Yeah,
of
that's
wild time
Well, the
fed?
Mont Saint Michel which is the border of Brittany and Normandy, that's where they have the beautiful salt-filled lamb. But this is not the season too. They have a season for that.
Sure.
Usually it's spring, spring and late spring
Yeah.
and summer is when you eat the lamb because it's the best time to eat it. So,
That's where they eat the thyme in the marshes. huh?
Yeah,
Right.
exactly.
right,
exactly.
and they taste
Well,
saltier.
Armo, thanks so much for coming
Yeah.
on and sharing some of your
Always
stories.
a pleasure.
You're welcome to come back every week and be our 3rd host. That would be awesome. So you just Pamela will call you and you just come back and will tell us a story every
I
week, and
love talking.
and
to
we'll
her.
we'll just kind of lullaby
Thank you.
ourselves
Thank
Thank you
into
so much.
our holidays. Lara Hamilton is the owner of Book Larder, and she is coming up next to talk about the books of the season and why they are fantastic on Cairo Radio 97.3 FM.
Thank you, Amo. You're a beautiful man.
You guys are getting to sit with a local treasure here, so.
Hello.
Oh, yeah, I gotta. There's people. I'm glad I bathed today. Would have shown up in my sweatpants.
You can always show up in your sweatpants. It's okay. We'd like to show up in those sweatpants.
Oh yeah, okay. It's been so long since I did anything like this in person.
Right, I know. Bringing it back.
What's tava?
Oh, Romanian baking. It's
Sounds cool.
So really cool.
Just the name sounds cool.
Yeah.
Oh, what a funny.
Yes. Oh, this is.
I was the pastry chef at Gramercy Tavern.
You were.
No,
Oh.
was
Oh, pastry chef. Yeah. And she wrote that last course book back in like 2000. That became, when it went out of print, it became like one of the most expensive books to buy on eBay, just in terms of like things that have been printed recently.
Right,
You know what I
right.
mean? And they re-released it like 2 years ago, and it was a bestseller again. And this is more of like a home baking.
I remember
book.
when
It's
she was
really
at
good.
Gramercy because I did a dinner with her and Tom Colicchio right after 9/11, like 3-4 days later, a week later
Uh-huh.
after 9/11 in
Yeah.
New York
Oh my God.
at Gramercy. We did a fundraiser for 9/11 victim, and it was pretty eerie, but
Yeah.
it was fun. Claudia is really awesome.
Oh no, totally.
I haven't seen her in 15 years, that girl.
I'm gonna make her gingerbread recipe.
It's so.
Oh, you've already
good.
done it.
Oh no,
Okay.
that's from last course.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, yeah. No, that's one of. Yeah, that recipe is iconic.
Yeah.
It's so good.
Cool.
It's really good. Yeah.
Like real gingerbread.
It is. Hi, Tom. How are you?
Super awesome.
Good. Good to see you.
Almost had dinner across the street from you last night at La Queen.
Oh
But
yeah.
ended up at Revel instead.
Oh yeah. Went downhill.
Have you been to Le Coin? I have never been.
It's fine.
Good.
American,
Yeah.
American bistro kind of thing.
Also, it's not Frenchy?
I wouldn't call it a French.
Okay.
No, I think that was originally what they set out to do a little bit more, and then it was like pandemic times. So
Mm.
they've sort of.
Because that's a French name.
Yeah, totally.
Le Coin.
Le Coin.
Ah, yeah. You're using a French name. I'm thinking maybe there's French food. That's not really. I mean, if you call it Amore Mio, I'm going to think there is Italian food in the restaurant.
Water. Is this for
Have
me?
you seen Patti Smith's new book? It's not a cookbook.
I haven't, but I've heard it's fantastic.
Just get it with
Patty
Kelly.
Smith.
Yeah, we went
Yeah.
to see her. We went to see
Did
her
you
at Town
go?
Hall last week.
Oh, it's sold. That
She
sold
was
out in like an hour.
awesome.
Like it was. No, I've heard her. She reads all of her books too, so
Yeah,
I've heard
yeah.
that like the audiobooks are just incredible.
She's a
Yeah.
great talker, and
Oh yeah, you did a post on it, or Kathy
Kathy
did.
did, yeah.
And it's like, damn.
Yeah. I was a big fan when she was a singer back in 79, 80.
Yeah.
I love that Arma graduated college
When I was
the
born.
years we were born. So.
Oh my God.
He's inspirational.
All right, we're back in the hot stove kitchen. We're having a good time here today. Lots of fancy guests, including our upcoming guest, Lara Hamilton from the Book Larder in Fremont. Welcome to the show. Long
Thank you
time
so
ago, since we've been on, long time gone.
Yeah, it is, and
As
it's
the
so lovely
Dixie
to be
Chicks
here
would
in
say.
person.
Yeah,
Yeah,
I think you were here last Christmas about this time because we,
probably.
the two big cookbook holidays, literally in the publishing business, are Mother's Day and Christmas, right?
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And this time of year, especially, just more books than we can keep track of
Right,
sometimes.
Right, exactly. What makes your shop? I mean, I know what makes it personal to me when I walk in. Of course, everyone knows me. That's always fun. Sometimes you carry my book, sometimes not. Don't you worry about that.
We always intend, but it's because we've sold.
Oh, they
out.
sold
We
out. That's what they-
always
that's what they
intend
always
to
say.
have your books.
Um,
Always.
There's only so much room in that store. It's a very
You are
small
unique
store.
in your field in this town. You and I talked about this. What 20? How long have you had the shop now?
It's been 11 years now.
11 years.
Yeah.
So
yeah.
we were thinking about the same thing. I think at the same time, right
Yep.
here at the hot stove. But we were looking in the Griffin building across the street to kind of maybe do a little a used /
Right.
new cookbook store. So because I've always been a fan of used books. I do
Yeah.
have my criteria, though. They have to be signed and they have to be first editions. Those are my criteria.
Yeah.
Which is good. It limits a little bit the amount of books you're going to collect.
It does for sure. And it also makes them a lot harder to come by, right?
Yes, it
and
does.
a lot more expensive.
Except for us, here at the show, we get all these books for free. which
That's
is-
true.
it's
That's
just
true.
lovely.
You just have to know to hold on to them so
Uh-huh.
that they get valuable someday, right?
So your shop is lovely. How do people shop at your shop to get the best value?
Well, I
You-
think it's definitely plan a little bit of time. We really have the place set up so that you can take time and peruse. We have a kitchen with a big counter. And so if you want to sort of gather a stack of cookbooks and sit down and take your time with them, you can do that.
What
in
a
our
good
space.
idea,
Well,
That sounds very inviting.
doesn't it? Yeah.
because it needs to be different than an online experience, right? I
Mhm.
mean, we have a web
Mhm.
store as well, but if you want to sell books and create sort of an experience that's different than online shopping. I
Yeah.
think, there's a part of that people still really want.
You're creating the hospitality side of buying a cookbook.
Yes, that's a very good way of putting it, Terry.
Yeah.
Can I use that, please?
Please do. Just send me the check in the mail.
Okay, yeah, excellent.
You know, it's
kidding.
been
About
it's been a
$5.
tumultuous
I
time
sell
in the
books.
cookbook industry with all the recipes online. And like, if you want to make my coconut cream pie, you can go online and find 50 different versions of the recipe that somebody has posted from one of our books. So it's a difficult time, and you have to engage a person's interest in a different way than maybe you did as the hot restaurant 15 years ago to sell a book, and you have to engage them now in a different way. And how has that changed in your world?
Well, it's interesting. When we opened the store, I think a lot of people were like, "Are you crazy?" Not just because of the fact that you
Amazon.
can buy them online, but you can get any recipe online. And cookbooks have continued to be a growth area in publishing because there's just an experience that you have using it that you can't get online. You get a curated point of view. I mean, actually, one of the books that I brought today is from Food 52, which I think 10 years ago probably would have never dreamed they would write a cookbook because they thought everything would be online. But I think the two can go hand in hand very well. People use cookbooks for one thing, and then they go online to meet other specific needs that may not be in their collection.
Right. No,
That is my wife Jackie's favorite website, by the way, Food 52.
Yeah, it's a
She,
fabulous
yeah.
website.
Yeah, I mean, there's always online will always be there from now on.
Yep.
But the old experience is definitely valuable for all people. Most people will want to have that personal touch for whatever reason, whether it's buying a knife, whether it's buying a cookbook, cooking anything. I think there's always a time in life where you need that connection.
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think you will never go away.
Well, thank you.
That's what I think. You will always you will actually become more valuable as we move on. So I have a full belief in that.
Well, people are writing entire books about the return of analog. And so, I have high hopes.
Well, I hope we
Well,
don't
yeah,
go
look
back.
at LPs. LPs are back.
Totally.
Yeah.
The only thing is we don't need to go back to the rotary phone.
No,
That takes
no.
forever to dial a number.
That
That's
didn't
like,
help
we don't need to go
anyone.
back to that.
Okay, we have two segments, so we want to get through you brought 7 books, it looks like. We already went through Pasta Grannies.
Fabulous.
Isn't that
How
awesome?
many
So
copies
fun.
do you have? I already sold them all to these
Oh, no,
guys.
we definitely have copies.
Okay,
And
good.
I believe that Vicky sent us book plates. So our copies might be signed. I would have to
Mm.
verify. But yes, because we did a virtual event with her as well. So yeah.
Good.
Yeah. So I have books that I thought would be great gifts. And the first is a Romanian baking book, actually called Tava, by a British-based author named Irina Georgescu. This book would be fabulous for any baker or any sort of lover of food history. Irina did a lot of really deep research into sort of the cultural history of Romania, since obviously it's politically, the politics have influenced the food greatly over the years, and even just what it means to be Romanian. But it's a really beautiful collection of stories, history, and really fantastic recipes. You'll find a lot of cakes, you'll find cookies, you'll find a lot of ingredients like sour cherries, like a lot of cinnamon. It would be a really fantastic book to use to maybe bring some new holiday desserts into your repertoire. And the last chapter is actually all entirely snacks and recipes that you can use for gift giving. And so it's just a really good all year round book that I think would bring a baker who's used to a more sort of American and sort of French and English point of view, bring them a lot of new ideas and recipes, as well as absolutely stunning photography and stories.
Cool.
We know Tava means?
I don't actually. I should have looked that up.
You know, Romania is right on the front lines of the Ukraine battle.
Exactly.
And my friends who have started, an orphanage over there and stuff for the Ukrainian children said the Romanians have just been incredible partners and are just so into being helpful and to helping through this crisis.
Absolutely.
As much as they can be. So
Yeah, and Irina herself has been very active in the Cook for Ukraine fundraising and things that have gone on over the past year with a lot of British-based authors. And then next we have, if you could see all of the flags I have in this book, you'd know this is one of my favorite books of the year. This is Rambutan by Cynthia Shanmugalingam. She is, again, a British-based author. This is a Sri Lankan book. She is in the process of opening a restaurant, but this is a collection of her sort of family recipes and the food that she's made in her food truck. Again, the theme I think of all of these books is going to be they're things that are great to read. Amazing essays. I think this is a voice we're going to hear a lot more from, just in food writing in general in the coming years. She's fantastic.
Is it reasonable to expect a food author like that to have a political point of view? This is kind of a hot topic in the world.
She absolutely does.
Can LeBron James have an opinion outside of how to dribble a basketball?
Yeah.
Or, so is it reasonable to expect?
Absolutely. And she does not shy away from discussing things like colonialism and just the impact that had on Sri Lankan cuisine and her experience as a Sri Lankan woman living in Britain. And so, yeah, it's a really, really great book. And then finally, I have a Seattle-based author. This is Frankie Gaw. You may know him on Instagram as Little Fat Boy Frankie. This is first generation. It is a Taiwanese-American book. He grew up in the Midwest, but like I said, now lives here in Seattle. This is, if you want to know how to make a dumpling, I can't think of a better book to pick up. There are instructional photos. Again, fantastic essays that are funny and heartfelt and really talk about his experience.
And does he have a restaurant here, or is does he have a website?
He's on Instagram and he works in high tech.
Okay.
Yeah. So, and it's a great book. You should have him on this show, in fact.
And is there a difference between Thai dumplings and Chinese dumplings?
Probably.
Because, Xiao Ching Chow's book has some delicious Chinese dumplings.
Absolutely. Yeah. Oh yeah. These are Taiwanese. So they're actually going to be similar to Chinese dumplings for sure.
Okay.
But yeah, I would ask Xiao Ching, who is more of an expert on the subject than I am, just from picking up a couple of books.
Yeah, I'm sure. I mean, dumplings are ubiquitous around the world. Everyone's got a version, whether you're in Romania, Hungary, or Thailand. So.
Absolutely.
They're hotter than hotter.
And they're
hotter
what?
than hot.
Oh, yeah, dumplings are hotter than hot.
Yeah.
No kidding. All right, more with Lara when we come back. You're listening to the Hot Stove Society show on Cairo Radio 97.3 FM.
Anybody want to look at any of these? Pass them over. I need the other ones for reference because I'll forget what I'm talking about. Thank you, Pamela.
Yeah, that one is seriously mocked.
Yeah, I've already made like probably 8 or 9 things from that. It's so good.
I write too much salt. Or I write
When you
too
own a
much
book,
gravy. I made it. Then I write
That makes the book more valuable if you write in it. If you try recipe and you write in your book,
that's what I use.
it makes it more valuable.
Yeah. Oh, for sure.
I'll put the
For
date
sure.
when I tried it and
Yeah.
my oven was too hot,
Yep.
I love those. We can't get those anymore. We used to sell them at the store.
You can't get them? Chronicle doesn't sell them anymore? They stopped?
Well, we couldn't get them about 2 years ago. Maybe they're back now and we just haven't looked. But
No, it's 2011 is the date on it. So.
yeah. No, we sold them right at the front counter
That's
for
where I
years and
bought
years.
it.
I was going to say you probably did. They're the best.
What are
I
they?
went through like 3 of them in
Yeah.
my kids' lunchbox years.
Lunchbox.
Yeah.
But I use them for icebreakers.
What is
here.
cold,
Totally.
delicious, and goes up and down?
A popsicle.
A pea.
A frozen yogurt.
They're so corny.
What's round, green, it goes up
How
and
do
down.
wealthy beans get around town?
Beanmobile.
They ride in the limousine. Limousine.
Oh, limousine, yeah. Limousine. What's green, round, goes up and down. A pea in an elevator.
Okay. What's brown about it?
Round.
Oh,
not
round.
brown. What's round, green, goes up and down.
Okay.
I mean, those are very heavy questions.
Heavy.
And we're back. We're chatting with Laura Hamilton from the Book Larder over there in Fremont, right there on Fremont Ave, right? Or
Yes.
Just on if you want some landmarks, what else is there? You Need a Burger is up there.
You Need a Burger is right there. We are across the street from Paseo.
Sale, the sandwich shop.
Paseo, the sandwich shop. We are next door neighbors with Eyes on Fremont, which has been an iconic sort of eyeglass store for years. And we see many people who pick up their glasses and then come in to test them in the store.
I like how
There
they
you
do
go.
it.
I like that.
I like how they do it afterward, not before.
Yeah, or sometimes during. They'll kind of come in. They want an opinion.
Right.
So yeah.
The Well, the reason I'm asking for a landmark, it is easy to drive by because you're in like a little
Yeah.
strip and you're the center of the strip.
We are
Yeah.
with a great big awning.
Right.
Yeah.
So, okay, you've taken us through 3 of your 7 books for the holiday season. And I'm assuming that there's plenty of inventory on these if you're
Oh, absolutely.
telling
Yeah.
us about them.
Yep,
Okay.
absolutely. So next we have Theo Randall, The Italian Pantry. This is a really excellent book for sort of using up those ingredients that you bought and you're not quite sure what to do with. So it's organized by sort of classic Italian ingredients like breadcrumbs, porcini mushrooms, parmesan, and these are just delicious, approachable weeknight cooking sort of recipes that another staff member and I just really can't stop cooking from this book. I pick it up all the time.
Tell us one of the things you've made from there that worked out beautifully.
So at the end of, since we had this bizarre tomato season, at the end of October, basically, I used just fresh tomatoes, basil, burrata, very simple sauce over pasta. You know, just like very simple things where maybe you've made it before, but you kind of forgot that you could do that, or just some new ideas as well.
Mm-hmm. Super fun. The
Yeah.
first thing I thought of was tin fish. Like you open a tin
That's
of anchovies.
exactly what I was thinking. Anchovies.
Yeah, you open a tin of anchovies. What do you do with the other
anchovies.
half kind of
Yeah.
scenario? So I always use them. You know, they last forever.
Yeah.
If you go into the Italian market in South Philly or anywhere, you just see big 5-pound tins of anchovies open on the counter. Who knows how long they've been there? It's like-
Yeah. And Theo's previous book actually was all about the tin things.
Oh, was it?
Yeah. And next we have Claudia Fleming, who was the pastry chef at Gramercy Tavern.
I can't believe she's still out there. I worked
I
with her
know.
at Gramercy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
I did a dinner with her too at Gramercy as well.
No, and she wrote, of course, the iconic book, The Last Course, which ended up, you know, being, it's probably the book that every pastry chef I know has in their collection. It's ubiquitous. This is more of a home baking book, but it does not shy away from the fact that she is also a professional pastry chef. And so the instruction and the method are all very precise and very thorough.
So in other words, a little bit intimidating.
Not necessarily intimidating so much as there are definitely easy recipes here like cookies and biscuits and quick breads and things like that. But there are also beautiful layer cakes. There are different sort of ingredients like she has a fennel tea cake with Pernod whipped cream, you know, just sort of those sort of things that bring a little
Using
bit
different ingredients.
Exactly.
It's more the
Taking it up a
ingredients that
notch.
are different, more chefy.
Absolutely. Sometimes, right? So, and that's why I think it's a good versatile book because you can look to it for that slightly fancier thing that you want to maybe make for a dinner party, but you could also pick it up for a great biscuit or chocolate chip cookie recipe. But it's really, really well written. And I mean, you can both vouch for,
Sure.
you know, sort
I
of
vouch
her
for
as
her.
Yeah, she was a hard
She's awesome.
worker.
She's an awesome pastry chef for
Yeah.
sure.
yeah. And so it's a great book. And I'm just, as you said, she's still there and I'm excited to see that she's
I
still
haven't
here.
heard her name in years.
Yeah. And next we have that Food 52 book I mentioned. The next two are really more for sort of newer cooks. This is Simply Genius Recipes for Beginners, Busy Cooks, and Curious People. So Food 52 does a really good job of sort of curating recipes from lots of different writers and chefs. This is a collection of those along with a lot of really great fundamental tips like how to slice an onion, how to break down a chicken, how to keep your herbs fresh, sort of all those things mixed in with the recipes so that you're becoming a better sort of kitchen manager and cook as you learn to make some of these fundamental things.
I think that kind of book is very good to help you diversify your cooking. Many people are stuck in a rut of a simple, 5 ingredients and they use all the time, and that's the one they use. When you say chicken, debone a chicken, everyone should buy a whole chicken and debone it at least a few times in their life so they can understand how much more you can get out of a chicken. You buy 2 chicken breasts, you get 2 chicken breasts, and that's pretty lame as far as I'm concerned. But
Yeah, when you buy whole chicken, you get schmaltz, you get chicken stock, you get all sorts
so
of things.
much.
Yeah.
You can make so much out of one chicken. It's amazing. So anyway, yeah.
Yeah.
Are there footnotes in there? Because they're famous for all their beautiful little cookware that they sell on their site.
Right.
So I would
No.
expect each recipe to have a footnote. Now this works really well in our cast iron oval.
Well, yeah.
This stuff is
I don't know.
beautiful,
That might
though.
have been a missed opportunity there, Tom. I'm not sure. But also, I just love the way that the chapters are organized because it's things like good things to make ahead for lunches and dinners and snacks all week. More good active weeknight dinners you can make in under an hour, like that sort of thing. So that
Right.
it's like it's more sort of in that context of what you're doing instead of just like exactly what the meal is.
It's real life.
Yeah, exactly. Exactly.
Brilliant.
And then finally, I have Baking Bread with Kids by Jennifer Latham, who used to be the bread director at Tartine. And this book is excellent because she's a really, really great teacher. So you get a lot of sort of the very sort of teacher focused approach to the recipes, but it also gives sort of the adult who might be cooking with the kids some good advice on how to approach it. So like leaving plenty of time, making sure that you have read through the recipe really thoroughly, probably several times. I mean, tips good for any cookbook user or any cook anyway. And actually, I know that it says baking bread with kids, but for somebody who maybe wasn't a kid and just wanted a super detailed bread baking book, it could also be a good option there too.
And really an extension of the COVID crazy bread baking craze.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And bread is great to bake with kids because you can eat from it sort of all week. And there's a lot of variety in the kinds of things that you can do. You know, you can make a sandwich out of it that they take to lunch and then they can, brag to their friends.
Right.
Well, it's a lot of fun making it, number one.
Totally.
I mean, you're going to have a little mess on your hand. Just put some plastic on the ground. Plastify the kitchen and then play.
Yeah, I think so many parents are afraid of the mess. And then, it just doesn't take that much to clean it all up. If you think smartly and contain
make the
it in a funny
cleaning
way.
part of the cooking.
Yeah.
Make the kids help you clean.
My
Yeah.
grandson is now 22 months old, I think on the 5th of December. And last night I got a video of him with a saute pan in the living room with the pair of tongs, shaking the pan like I shake it with him on my stove because I carry him above the stove and we cook together. And he's got his little wood balls from one of his toys in the pan. He's shaking the pan, turning each ball over with the pair of tongs.
Wow.
At 22 months?
At 22 months.
What are you, building a cook at 3?
I don't think that's yes. And I think the point is that don't be scared and just teach him how to cook. It's just not that difficult. And he loves it. I literally, on the barbecue, when I'm out there barbecuing, he loves the barbecue. And I give him a pair of tongs and he helps me turn the chicken on the barbecue. And he's like wiping the smoke out of his eyes. But he won't leave. He still wants to turn the chicken on the barbecue. So instill that passion for food and hopefully he won't end up I guess I don't want him to end up a big person like me. Because you have to have some containment, which I've never quite had. But I learned, early on from my mom and blah, blah, blah. So I love that book idea. Jackie, my wife's a great bread baker. I would love her to teach him how to make bread right now. She works her sourdough all the time. And that'd be perfect for him.
Absolutely.
And let him get sticky. It's okay.
Yeah, and this is simple recipe. So make simple recipe that doesn't, even if it messes up, it has some give. And then, clean up the kitchen together.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
No problem with that.
It's the same with gardening, right? You get them out there planting the seeds, digging in the dirt, picking the carrots, and then all of a sudden they like carrots.
Exactly.
So,
exactly.
Well, congrats on such a fine assortment. Anything that we should be looking forward to? Have you heard in the grapevine that there's new books coming out?
Well,
like we could pre-order with you, maybe?
Oh, absolutely. So Allison Roman has a new baking book coming in March. Deb Perlman actually has a book that just came out, but we are doing an event with her at Town Hall at the end of January, and there are just a few tickets left for that.
Who's that? I don't know.
Yeah.
Deb Perlman is Smitten Kitchen.
Oh,
yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, so this is her third book, and it came out at the end of November, but with holidays all in the middle of it, she's sort of broken her tour into 2 parts. And so we'll be hosting her at Town Hall on January 26th.
That would sell out. She's got a tremendous following.
She does indeed.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
I'm looking forward to kind of reading the books that I have a little bit too. It's been a long time since I've gone through my shelf, and I got rid of about 400 books out of close to 3,000 maybe 2 years ago or something. And I probably need to pare down another time.
Yeah.
I still have my top of the pack.
Where did you put them?
I generally take them to Goodwill or someplace of that nature. So if I thought they were valuable, I'd give them to Laura. And she could sell them. I couldn't sign them. But there's a lot of books out there.
No,
and we have a lending library right here at the Hot Stove.
And I have plenty of them to get rid of it too. So.
Exactly. All right. Thank you, Laura Hamilton.
Yeah, thank you
head
so
out to the
much.
book larder. You can go online
You can
Shop
indeed,
online.
booklarder.com.
Yep, and you can also go to the store in Fremont, which I would highly suggest.
Absolutely.
It's a fun outing.
Thank
Spend
you.
a half hour, an
Remember,
hour.
reading with hospitality.
Absolutely.
All right, it's time for Rub with Love Tasty Trivia right here on Cairo Radio. I'm looking forward to this. It's the Hot Stove Society Show, 97.3 FM.
Laura is going to trounce you guys.
Oh, I can't believe you subject yourself to this thrashing.
I
that
can't
you're
believe
I
we're
gonna
gonna
think
get
that I
killed.
won pretty easily last time, if
I
I,
don't-
remember correctly.
I think your memory is faulty.
Yeah, I think you lost. That's what I remember.
Your kids section.
Oh, noticed yeah, was sorry, I pretty should've- big. It is there. Yeah. Yeah. And there have been a lot of like food oriented storybooks and picture books that have come out in the past couple of years too. So, yeah. You having some eggnog there?
Yeah, with brandy. Oh, you didn't get any?
No, I don't. I'm good. Thank you.
It was rum, chef.
It was rum.
Are these all recipes you want to make?
Yeah. And I've made a bunch of them. Yeah. No, I love that book. Oh no, I'm sure. Yeah, because I made the Sri Lankan curry blend, and so yeah, I probably splashed a little when I did that.
30-year romance, 32-year romance.
You guys are doing good. We're almost done. Thanks for hanging tight.
Been a pleasure. You made up a little time.
Final
there, didn't you?
stretch.
It's good. We need it.
Okay, time for Food for Thought Tasty Trivia. I'm Tom Douglas.
And I'm Terry Rotero, the chef in the hat.
We've had a really fun show today with Pamela, our producer, and Sean, our technical director. Annie made breakfast. Thank you, Annie.
Thank
Where
you,
is she?
Chef Honey.
See, when I'm nice to her, she disappears.
She's not
It's
used
only
to
when
it.
I'm mean to her that she shows up. It's time, Chef, for
Yes.
us to take on a challenger
Correct.
in the Food for Thought Tasty Trivia Challenge.
And I'm afraid we have a giant challenger today.
Don't be afraid, Chef.
I'm a little bit
We
afraid.
got this. We got this.
Okay, we got this.
We're going to take her down.
Sure.
She's highfalutin.
Oh my goodness.
She's definitely well read.
Yes, she is. Laura Hamilton is staying with us for one last segment. It could be the end of her public life because she's going to be so embarrassed of how poorly she does today.
We're gonna have to go home with the big L on the forehead.
Rub with Love Food for Thought Tasty Trivia is brought to you by our very own Spice Rub family, which has grown to 20 different varieties. We can help you doll up just about any dish. Check out some snazzy gift sets at tomdouglas.com. It's the perfect gift for every party. Buy a book at the Book Larder and then send a box of rubs to go along with it. They're available at the Hot Stove Society or Seatown Market and Fish Fry in the market, or Ballard Serious Pie. You can drop by there and buy caseloads of it. That's where we actually blend it. For our friends in Vancouver, BC, please check out Market Meats in Kitsilano, and in Redding, California, please stop by R&R Quality Meats. 'Tis the seasoning, so to speak. All right, let's
Nicely
play,
delivered.
Pamela.
Yes, let's play 5 questions for each contestant. I'm making sure everybody's a winner today.
Because
I'm in that kind of
so
spirit.
Sweet.
Yeah. Okay.
That's so
Okay.
sweet.
What do you mean? I thought we were going to crush her like a grapefruit.
But she told me the same thing, so
Oh,
I
okay.
think we've all been played here.
He's already sent us the question in the mail.
Chef in the hat, please.
Go ahead.
Number 1. Cookbooks have been with us for a very long time. The oldest known cookbook was written on clay tablets and dates from the 18th century BCE, which is the now secular way to say before Christ.
I think if you read
Before
Moses'
current-
10 commandments backwards, it's actually a recipe for roast chicken.
Which culture left this for us? The clay tablets, Mr. Otero, the Chinese, the Babylonian, the Roman, or the Inca?
1800 BC. I'm gonna go Chinese.
Babylonian.
Ah, well,
Number
the other
2.
one?
That's your idea of easy.
you know,
This famous 19th century French aristocrat, painter, and alcoholic collaborated with Maurice Joyant to produce his art de cuisine. Who was it? Jacques Louis David, Henry de Luz-Lautrec, Edward Manet, or Antoine Watteau?
I'm gonna go with Lautrec.
Exactly, correct. Who is the French king of kings and chef of kings who published his Guide culinaire in 1903, which is still in use today? Would you like a multiple choice?
Sure.
Oh, come on. You should
Frank
know this.
Beard,
I want
Paul
people to- I'm
Bocuse,
sorry.
Wolfgang Puck, or Auguste Escoffier?
I go with Escoffier.
You are correct.
Wolfgang Puck was a close second.
He's been around a long time.
He's gonna beat me up if he knows. Thinking it's 1903.
Please name the cookbook by Kenji Lopez Alt that uses chemistry and physics to help explain recipe techniques.
You want the title of it?
It's also a bestseller.
You want the
she wants
title
the
of it?
title of it.
One of the most important books to come out, don't you think, in the
Yes,
last
of
10
course.
years?
Take your time, chef.
I'll take my
If you
time.
need a hint, you're in a bit of a lab here,
Oh yeah,
laboratory.
the lab kitchen.
No.
No,
Food lab.
Food lab.
Food lab.
Sorry, I should
I
remember.
gave you
this.
half of the title.
Yes, that wasn't good enough.
I mean, how many copies you must sell a
We
day?
have lots and lots of copies, all signed.
It's
at
so
all signed,
important.
yeah.
It's such
And
a
he lives locally now, too.
He does, yeah.
love having him in
Sorry,
Seattle.
KG. I'll remember next time.
And finally, what was the main focus of Deborah Madison's book, The San Francisco Chef? What does she write about so passionately?
Farm to table
Mm-mm,
kind of cooking.
mm-mm,
You know, from
mm-mm.
maybe no.
Sort of.
What's the topic, Tom?
It's called greens.
Well,
Veg-
no, it's
veggies.
looking-
No, but that's about vegetable. It's all about
Vegetables. That's what I was
she's a
looking for.
vegetarian.
Are there
What
no
does she-
pigs on a farm?
What? Oh yeah, okay, I guess you're right.
What? Wouldn't
Farm
you
to-
say she's so important as a vegetarian?
Oh,
and
absolutely.
Yeah.
She brought, Amanda Hesser says she brought vegetarian food out of its brown
Absolutely.
era. basically.
Absolutely. And
And I think
and
that's-
it's what,
yeah.
30 years ago now, I think.
Oh,
More than
yeah.
that.
Greens,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah,
Really
Greens is
impressive book.
Yeah,
35,
very
probably,
impressive.
40, late 80s.
Greens was like it's more than
The
30.
restaurant. Yeah, the Greens
Yeah.
restaurant was awesome, too. Yeah.
Starting with a softball, Miss Hamilton.
Oh, okay.
What a
Oh,
shocker.
next.
What a shocker.
Yeah. What's on page 27
While she
of
was
the book?
living in France after working for the OSS in the Second World War,
Oof.
Julia Child attended which famous cooking school before collaborating on mastering the art of French cooking? Would you like a multiple choice?
Well, why not? Chef took one.
Cordon Bleu, École Supérieure, International Culinary Center, or the French Culinary Institute?
Cordon Bleu.
Yes, exactly. When this woman wasn't touring as part of her husband's rock and roll band, she was a cookbook writer, food impresario in her own right. She was an ardent vegetarian, once saying, if slaughterhouses had glass walls, the whole world would be vegetarian. Do you want multiple choice?
Yes, please.
Stevie Nicks, Judy Collins, Joan Baez, or Linda McCartney?
Linda McCartney.
Yes. And number 3, what are some of the most used ingredients in Yotam Ottolenghi's popular cookbook, Plenty?
Just come
Things
up
that
with-
you need to have in your pantry.
How could you be wrong here?
Yeah, that's true. It's pretty much name one and it's in there. Cumin,
Yes.
coriander.
Yep.
She said
oh, and
one. That's
so
good.
many. How
Oh.
many?
She said some.
Some.
Oh, well, cumin and coriander for sure. Turmeric, za'atar, parsley.
I had to buy, all of those are correct, so she gets that one right. But I didn't own pomegranate molasses
Oh yeah, that's
before
another big one.
I had that book. And now I already love preserved lemon, but I think of those
Oh yeah, yeah, for sure.
it-
Preserve
and
lemon, yeah.
those spices that you have to buy fresh.
That's funny. Those are 2 ingredients that I've certainly used in my cooking life, but neither one do I crave. I know you love, especially
Both of
preserved
them.
lemons. I
Yeah.
just don't crave them.
So
A lot of
good.
people do. Yeah.
So
So
good.
good.
Good. I got you.
What is the name of the local author who wrote vegetarian Chinese soul food?
Xiao Qing
Ye-
Chow.
Yes. And finally, which one would you like to answer? What is the most expensive cookbook in your shop, or the biggest trend that you've seen in 2022?
Well, the most expensive cookbook is probably Modernist Cuisine.
Yes.
Oh,
I mean,
Not probably.
it is.
is it $1,000 for the
I
set?
don't even remember what
It
it is
came
now.
out
at
The price has
600 or
actually
something.
changed.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's $600 or $700.
Yeah,
It's
600
yeah.
something. Yeah.
I mean, off the top of my head, I
And
don't
what's the
remember.
hottest thing?
And the hottest thing, oh my goodness, there have been so many. I mean, vegetables, sort of vegetable focused cooking became a thing a couple of years ago and has not died. And I think that own voices, either American cookbooks, sort of culturally significant books written by people who actually, are part of that culture has been amazing. And just the rise of sort of international books as well, and people getting more comfortable with cooking outside of sort of American kitchen.
Bring on Sri Lanka.
Exactly. There's 2 this fall. So yeah.
So good. Did she get all 5 right?
Oh, yeah.
Of
Oh,
course.
yeah.
She smoked us.
Oh, yeah.
Mr. Douglas,
Oh, yeah.
Thanks, Pamela.
what was the title of Isabella Beaton's 1861 work, which included tips on fashion, child rearing, servants, and animal welfare? Do you want a multiple choice?
Sure, why not?
Lizzie Beaton's book, The Housewife Companion, Victorian Cookery, or Mrs. Beaton's Book of Household Management?
Lizzie Beaton's book.
Mrs. Beaton's Book of Household
Exactly what I
Management.
said. Yeah.
And staying with since you're a history buff, whose 1896 Boston Cooking School cookbook has stayed in print for over a century and is often referred to only by the author's name? Would you like multiple choice?
Betty Crocker.
Fanny Farmer.
Fanny Farmer.
Here's a good one for you. Who wrote the great?
What were the last ones, if this is a good one?
Who wrote the great meat cookbook? And what?
Bruce Idell.
Yes. What product was he famous for?
Well, he's still famous for
Sausage.
his sausages, but he sold, you still see his picture on him, but he sold that company long ago, has nothing to do with it.
Number 4. How many pictures of you are in Anne Willen's book, From My Chateau Kitchen?
I see 2 tabs. So I'm gonna say 2.
I screwed that up.
I know. I love this. You get 2 tabs. I'm like, 2 at least. I believe
That was a trip of a lifetime, wasn't it, Chef?
I believe
You were
my
on that
hands are
trip.
in there too.
Your
I
hands
don't have
are
my
in there.
face, but I got my hands.
And finally, at Cuoco, we hosted the chef who wrote Never Trust a Skinny Italian. Who was it, and was he skinny?
He was super skinny, and I cooked him a whole pig while he was here, and he loved it. And his restaurant's often been named the best restaurant in the world.
You're getting close, but
And
you
he's
can't
in
remember.
Bologna,
Okay.
and
I know. I can see him. You had a party.
I
We went there,
know.
met him, and
Yeah, that guy.
very Italian.
How do you say that guy in Italian?
Not Marchesi, but
Massimo Bottura.
Massimo. Yeah. Does any part of my answer count?
No.
No, it doesn't.
Oh,
Okay,
hey,
once
come
again,
on.
according to Laura, she crushed us like the walnuts we are.
And that's what she remembers, and that's what she's gonna keep remembering.
Oh, yeah.
I'll keep
exactly.
coming back because you let me win.
What ingredient works well in Jerusalem, the most popular cookbook in the history of cookbooks? Okay. If you want to be part of our group here at the Hot Stove, you can go to hotstovesociety.com and buy a ticket. I think it's $25. You get breakfast and hot coffee and our lovely company on Thursday mornings, 2 hours. It's worth taking a day off of work or even a half day. You're listening to us on the Cairo. The show is produced by Pam Hinckley. Our sound and production by Sean McFadden. And our editor is Sean Don't Call Me Del Torre. Remember, if you miss any episode of our Hot Stove Society show on Cairo, you can listen via podcast. Just go to your favorite podcast app and subscribe.
Thanks for listening, and have a fabulous weekend.
Wow, just like that. Okay, need quiet on the set there, Chef. Hands up. Hands up.